I've literally been, hi.
Hey, everybody. Gene Ginsburg here with Angela Giles, our Facebook Lives.
We are so excited today. We are going to be talking about, is your messaging consistent? Are you showing up when you say you're going to show up? And I love this, Gene, because this is a drum I have been beating for years. Like beat, beat, beat.
Well, actually, I think there's 2 points. There's 2 ways on how you can construe is your messaging consistent. One is what you just said, are you consistently showing up? But 2 is, is your messaging actually consistent across all of your channels? And that's one thing that I see a big mistake when it comes to messaging in general, is that like on your website you have one thing, and through your email you have another thing, and through social media you're saying another thing, and it's like your branding and your brand presence is not consistent. So we can talk about both.
I think that that's really important. Am I echoing?
What's no, are you echoing on your end?
Yeah, I think so, but that's all right. So I agree with you on that. And I used to talk about that too. I used to share the analogy, like if you're going to show up as a professional and you show up with your hair, like, cause I have really curly hair naturally, like all super curly, like an afro, which is like sort of fun. And then I go on my neck and I put a picture up and I say, I'm a swimsuit model. And then I go on my other, Twitter, for example, and I have my hair straight and I'm like, oh yeah, like I work in corporate. Yeah. I'm being extreme, right? I did that in the beginning. People are like, I didn't even know it was you.
Exactly.
I've never been a swimsuit model. Hell no. Like,
are you sure? Maybe it's a story you want to share with us. Huh?
No. I'm so not like, no, my body would not pass that muster. But the point is, I use extreme examples for people to get it, right? So I agree with you, Jane.
Yeah, and it's also consistency of imagery also, not just like your messaging, like the copy and the words that you say, which of course are important. But yeah, like you mentioned, it's also about imagery, right? So like if your brand has a certain image feel to it, like are you more professional? Are you more casual? Are you more laid back? There's many different feels on how your brand can be, and so you want to have consistency across your imagery and how you present yourself, brand positioning, brand brand promise, I guess, is part of it, is how you present yourself in the marketplace, right? Because you don't want to be like professional one day and then be all laid back and casual. And there's nothing wrong with being one or the other, but the key point here is that you have to be consistent with who you are.
Well, and it's true. And the whole thing is, it's just who you are. We're not telling you one way or another. In fact, It's so funny you said that, because I was interviewing last night for a position, and a social media position, meaning I was interviewing someone to be on my team.
Oh, okay.
And I said, hey, why don't you share with me someone that you had helped before? And so she sent, and I said, show me the graphics. So she sent me this graphics of this lady, like with silhouettes on, dancing on a pole, right? And I started to laugh. So I'm like, tell me the brand. And I went to the brand, and it's actually called like Silhouette Yoga. Like it's some sort of like health and wellness, but it was all their branding was wearing silhouette heels, and they had poles, and that's how they got their exercise. And I started looking across their branding, and that's all it was. Even the owner, who's like does very well for herself, like that's how she was dressed in all of her stuff. So I got the idea, right? But it made me laugh, and I'll never forget, because it was so cool. And
I was part of an entrepreneur organization, and one of the people in my group was a woman and her brand is pole sport, and so she does competitions for pole dancing. So like that's her brand, right? Like it's all about pole dancing, and it's all about like wearing skimpy outfits and like stiletto heels, and but that's her brand, like that's not my brand. Like I wouldn't be doing that, and I wouldn't be wearing that.
If I did that, you would go like this.
But that's what she does. She does pole dancing competitions all over the country and even all over the world. Maybe not so much now because of COVID, but that's like she puts on these big events for for women and actually men too, who want to be part of like the pole dancing community and who want to, do like a little 5-minute number. So that's her brand, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
It's just more that, are you being consistent across the board with your imagery, your messaging, your actual like text and copy, what you say across all of your channels, what you say in your videos, what you say in your emails, what you say on your social media. Like, it all has to be consistent. And I see that very, very often where, as you like to call it, schizophrenic brands, right? They are not consistent with how they present themselves to the marketplace. And then the thing is, what it does is that it causes confusion for your audiences. And that is a key problem on selling. So if you want to sell more, be consistent, because what happens is users will see your brand, they see that it's all schizophrenic, and they're not going to buy from you because they're going to be like confused. They're like, well, I'm not sure what Angela's trying to do. Or like, I saw her say this in one video, and then she said that in another video. And I'm like, I'm confused. So like, I wouldn't like, confusion causes people not to buy. Consistency and sameness, if you will, causes people to buy a lot more. For example, Nike, just do it. They have it everywhere. That's their whole thing. Like, just do it. That's their whole brand, and they don't stray away from that. That's what they do.
Well, that's very true. And I think you made a good point there. And I want to tie that in with the examples we were sharing. They were fun, and, we had a good laugh, and it was cool. But I actually think that there's some good golden nuggets to pull out of that. And that is not only be consistent and everything, but also like perhaps infuse your USP throughout your messaging, right? Like, what makes you different? What makes you stand out? And I love those two examples that Jean and I share, because they obviously make these women stand out. But I want you to think about, if you're looking at your brand and you're thinking, okay, well, I need to like pull it together a little more. And I can say for myself, there's some things I'm fixing right now in my own branding. So I'm doing the same thing, but I would encourage you to look at your own branding and as you're doing this exercise, and say, okay, is there anything I could do in my branding to make myself stand out more, to, exude my USP throughout my branding, so that people will remember me? Because imagery is like, what do they say? 1,000 words is one image, or I can't remember that saying.
One picture is worth 1,000 words.
Yeah, right. So I think that there is a lesson in that as well, when you think about that.
Oh, absolutely. But then the second point that I think you brought up in the beginning was, is your messaging consistent across? Are you showing up every day? Are you showing up to your social media, to your audiences every day? And you know what? Before, maybe a couple years ago or a few years ago, you didn't necessarily have to show up all the time. Maybe you could post, three times a week on your social media, or maybe send out like, once a month to your an email broadcast to your audiences. But the thing is, things have changed. And in order to stay competitive, and in order to be out there in the marketplace, there is, I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of people out there. There's a lot. So you have to stay on top of it, because they will then show up in your place if you don't show up for yourself. And that's the thing, like, we need to show up for ourselves. Like, no one is going to do it for us. There's no one out there who will show up for your brand except for you, because you are the brand person.
Well, and I will share this with you. And this is something, I am such an advocate of what you said, Jean. In fact, I 1,000,000% stand behind you. She is so on point there, that I've even made changes to my schedule in the last 2 weeks, where I'm like, you know what, this has to get more in my schedule. So I have blocked off literally from 1 to 4 every freaking day to do my stuff and show up with my things. And I show up on Pinterest, I show up on Facebook, I show up on Twitter, I show up on TikTok. Like, I do my stuff, rain or shine. Even if I feel like crap, I still do my stuff, because I know exactly what she's saying. The market space, and just in general, has become so saturated that you must show up and you must do your stuff. But I am telling you, when you do it consistently, it makes a difference. So I'm going to share with you a story real quick, Jean. I just started TikTok about a month ago, and I decided, okay, because I wanted to learn. I was putting up some fun videos just to get it. But I started consistently on Monday. Okay, I'm going to do 2 videos a day to get going. Guess what? My So I've been doing that, and I was tired last night and grouchy, and I'm like, I don't want to do it, but I did it. I woke up this morning to my son, who's helping me. He's 16, comes in my room at 5 a.m. Mom, 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 like this, wakes me up, and I'm like, what? It's 5. I can sleep till like 5:45. Like, Mom, you got to guess how many views your TikTok video got. And I'm like, what, honey? 100? No, Mom. 200? No, Mom. 500? No, Mom. You just have to know. And I'm like, well, how many? This is exactly how the conversation. 1,749 videos, and I helped you make it.
Is it the one about your dog?
On one TikTok 20-second or 15-second thing, I don't know. It was 1,749 views on the video I did not want to make last night.
What's the video about?
It was something stupid. It was about a teenager, not wanting me to be on TikTok. So I do a mix of like educational and fun videos. And I will tell you, just for fun, if I've gotten any more views on it. But I bring this up because it is when we all get like this, even seasoned marketers like Gina and I, where we just don't feel like it. But when you follow through and you do your stuff, I have now 1,763. That's what happens.
That's awesome. So congratulations. I don't know if I've ever gotten that many organic views before, ever.
Well, thank you. I'm just saying, though, I researched the hashtags. I made the video. I looked, my fat arms were sticking out, and I'm like, I'm just going to do this anyways. And I did it, and it was fun. And that's the experience I had. So I want to share with you that consistency in this way of talking about consistency actually does pay off.
Absolutely.
And
consistency does. I mean, persistence always pays off, right? Mm-hmm. Consistency and persistence always pays off. That's really the key to success in a lot of ways. It's not so much about the latest Facebook functions or ads. It's really about being consistent.
Right. Well, it's interesting, and I want to share something else because I just want to hammer this home, and then I know your time is precious, but I will share this. I started doing Pinterest a year ago, like hardcore for my blog, and I've grown my Pinterest now, all organically for the most part, to 3.2 million views a month. I actually got a call or a text yesterday or the day before, and I was on a call this morning with a huge company that has thousands of franchise owners, and they do all the marketing for them. And they wanted to talk to me about my expertise in Pinterest because I was recommended by some very well-known marketers online. They went to him and they said, who's the best at Pinterest? And my name got brought up, and a screenshot of something someone else had put out about me. I had no idea. So that's because I consistently get my butt up and I do my Pinterest every day. And yes, there's days when I do not feel like it, but I do it anyways. So that's the point. When you show up, even if for 5 minutes and you do your work, good things happen.
That's awesome. I didn't know about the Pinterest thing. That's amazing.
Well, this is what these are just little things that have happened to me over the past couple of days. And I have these kind of stories, but I'd like to share this because I do this organically, and I get not wanting to do stuff every day, but guess what? If you do, there's payoff. That's the whole reason. It's not about my glory at all. Trust me, I don't really care. It's all about you showing up, doing the work, and reaping the rewards of having a really awesome business.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. What I will say is that most of the times, like 99% of the time, entrepreneurs get discouraged because they do this for a little while. Maybe they do it for a week or a couple of weeks, and then a month, and then they're like, oh, well, I'm not really seeing any results. But honestly, this takes a lot longer than just a month or two. It takes years. Like for you, it's probably taken a year to do Pinterest, like consistently every day you're doing Pinterest consistently, and finally you're seeing some payoffs for that. And you also have your blog and everything. So
last summer, I remember my sister, last May, like a year and a month ago, my sister had a thing in her house in San Diego. I was at like 200 page views a day on my blog doing Pinterest, and I was sleeping on a mattress on the floor in her guest room. My husband was on the other thing, and I woke up early to do my Pinterest. And I'm like, why the frick am I doing this? And we were on vacation. We were going to my niece's graduation, but I did it anyways.
Yeah.
A year later.
The thing, it takes a year, maybe more, to get to that point. But the thing is, you have to do it every day. Like, for example, Rachel Hollis, are you familiar with Rachel
Yeah.
Hollis? Yeah, I mean, she's been doing lives every day for the last like 10 years or something like that. Like every day. And now she's a best-selling author for 10 years. Okay. So like success doesn't come overnight. And all of this, if you tell me a story, not you, but I'm saying if anybody tells me a story about Oliver Knight's success, I call bullshit on it. And I try not to swear in my lives, but I will say that.
I'll say it, it's bullshit. Everyone that, I made $40,000 this month. That is absolutely freaking true. But what did it take for you to make that $40,000?
Exactly. Like, everybody misses or like doesn't want to talk about the last 10 years that took you to get to $40,000 a month. Absolutely, I don't disagree with you. You might have made $40,000 a month, but it wasn't because yesterday you were sitting on your couch, watching Netflix and eating bonbons. It's because you were putting in the work for the last years, however many years, to get to that $40,000 a month. Absolutely, but everybody misses that whole part of like the story of going up and falling down and succeeding and persevering and then falling flat on your face and then going back up. And it's like, that's a real story of an entrepreneur. There's no entrepreneur out there that has done it overnight. They're like, yeah, okay, yesterday, I was just watching Netflix and today I have $40 million or I have $40,000 a month. Not possible. It has to do with consistency. It has to do with perseverance. It has to be with showing up every day, even though you might not want to do this. And, Angela and I, we do this. What's that?
Don't make excuses for yourself.
Yeah, Angela and I show up every day, 5 days a week to do this Facebook Live. Now, is it that I want to do it every single day? And maybe I'm not, maybe I'm in a crabby mood one day, but I still do it and we show up and we have a good time here.
And you know what? She makes me laugh. And that's one of the other reasons I show up is because I have fun people like Jean in my life.
I try not to be crabby, but typically I'm not. But sometimes it happens.
And here's the other thing too, and I want to share this. I just feel like I feel inspired to say this, is find a group of people in your life or mentors or a success partner or a community. Like we have our community for women entrepreneurs that is digital marketing and tech. And we have a community where you can come and be part of that so you can have the support you need. So that when you feel crabby or you don't feel like showing up and doing your lives or your TikTok or your Pinterest or whatever that thing is for you, you'll still do it anyways. You won't make an excuse and say, oh, well, I look fat today or my kid is screaming. Well, guess what? Bring your screaming kid, put him on your lap and do your live. Trust me, I started my business 18 years ago. I had little tiny kids. I had 3 kids under the age of 5, and I still did it. I still showed up and I did my stuff. So figure it out, but do what you say you're going to do, and then the success will come. So.
Yep, absolutely. So make it work for yourself. Include your kids in it if you have small kids. Include your dog in it if you need to take care of your dog.
They bark and they make gross noises behind me sometimes, and I still keep going.
Yeah, and your dog snores all the time. I hear it here. It's so funny. It's hilarious. And it's loud too.
She does. She lays right behind me unless I kick her out, and she snores like this freight train. I even made a TikTok video of her snoring.
Yeah, that's actually pretty funny. Anyway, I know that we have gone, it's okay. I think our Facebook Lives are going to get a little bit longer every single time. We used to do like 7 minutes. Now it's like almost 20 minutes. That's fine because we have things to say. And, there's actually more things I want to say, but I think I'll just, we can talk about it another time, about like a book that I'm reading, for example. So, but yeah, we can talk about that next time. But yes, the key point here is make sure that your messaging is consistent in 2 ways. One, that it's consistent across the board, your imagery, what you say on your videos, what you say on your social media, your copy, your text, everything is consistent. And also 2, that you're consistently showing up every day to your community.
Amen.
Awesome. Everybody have a great weekend. We will see you on Monday for our Facebook Live, same bat time, same bat place. And we love doing this.
All right. See you then. Bye.